to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Hi, today we are with Loy Brunson. Hey Loy, it's great to see you here. Tell our audience a little bit about what you do and who you are.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Who I am?
Well, Loy, you've done a lot of things. A musician,
okay.
Almost politician, not
Yeah.
quite a politician, but you
Yeah.
do some political stuff. So
Yeah.
just give us a little rundown.
Well, okay, it started when my mom bought trumpets for my little brothers because they wanted to be like trumpet players in a band. And my dad came home and he couldn't believe that she had done this without talking to him. So he took the instruments back to the store and he told the store owner, he says, these aren't even new. And so what are you doing? And he says, well, I know your boys and they have good embouchures. So why don't you take these 4 brand new Bach Stradivarius silver lightweight trumpets? And I know that if you take these, they'll be playing up and down the state before you know it. And he says, well, I can't pay for these. And he says, just pay me when you can. So he took them and he came home with these brand new Bach Stradivarius lightweight trumpets, the best that you could buy basically at that time. And then I think he realized, what have I done? And so I think he decided to do the, smoke the cigar behind the barn trick. And so he decided to book a teacher at the local university, like several hours every day until he could burn us out, right? And so what happened is the teacher got burned out instead, and we could play a song at the end of the course, and then my dad fell in love with how we sounded. And so we started playing, and so my dad would invite people over, neighbors and stuff, to hear us play. Then we started doing school assemblies. Then we started doing fairs. And then we decided we wanted to get on national television, so we set up outside the Tonight Show NBC studios in Burbank. And we played for the audience, thinking that they would get out of line and come over and talk to us, and they wouldn't. And so as we were packing up, we were actually kicked off the property by the page. The page says, you can't be here because it's union. And so we had a little sound system with a microphone and an amplifier and a generator producing electricity and a couple of speakers. And at that time, we had this little limousine that we drove around in. And so we thought, oh, gosh, now we have to move off the properties. So he says, but don't leave because we want to use your sound system. So we move off the property, and then the page comes over and wants to start making announcements to the Tonight Show audience, waiting to go into the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, right? It was a long time ago. And so after they did that, we started packing up thinking, oh my gosh, this is a disaster. It didn't work. We were kind of trying to figure out ways to perform. Like, who wants to hire 4 brothers that play trumpets? We're not a band. We're not a dance band or anything. And so then before we could get packed up, a man came out, and I remembered it as like a wrinkled shirt. He looked like he'd been sleeping in his clothes. And he says, you guys want to be on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson? We go, well, sure, yeah, who wouldn't? And we just thought he was nobody, but it turned out he was the talent coordinator. And apparently Johnny Carson had been driving past when we were playing, and he had stopped and heard us, and he told the coordinator to come out and book us on the show.
And then you played Happy Birthday. Whose birthday was it?
Johnny's.
So did he expect that? He looked surprised.
Well,
was it all part of the act?
Okay. You know what? The first time, this is the second time we were on that I'm talking about. It's been so long talking about it. The first time we were on, we actually were able to, a friend knew one of the 9 directors of NBC. And so we played for him, and he set up an audition with the executive vice president of NBC in charge of corporate creative services. And I remember now, yeah, that was the second time we were on. So the first, Johnny had forgotten that we'd been on before because it had been so long. It's kind of funny. So the talent, the vice president arranged for us to play for Joan Rivers at her house. I mean, this is, do you know who Joan Rivers is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And so we went there, and Entertainment Tonight was there with their film crew to videotape it. And so it's hard to remember the sequences of things because it was so long ago. And so we were all ready to go, and Joan Rivers' husband came out and said, get out of here. He wouldn't let us do it.
Why?
It was a surprise for his wife. He was very private, and he saw the cameras and stuff, and so we weren't able to do that. But eventually, the vice president was able to allow us to play Happy Birthday.
That's awesome. Well, that was a bigger audience.
Yeah, for Johnny Carson. So I've got to write all this stuff down so I can remember the sequence of it, because that was so many years ago.
Can that be the next book? I mean, that's...
Maybe, yeah. So anyway, we've been on twice, and so in the video, if you look at the video, if you go to Loy Brunson, my YouTube account, you'll see where he goes, "Who are those guys?" And then I think Ed McMahon says, "Well, they were on before," and he had forgotten that we'd been on the show before, so we got to play a number instead of just happy birthday.
So when do you guys like disband or whatever? What do you guys do beyond that?
Well, okay, we were performing and writing music and recording music and stuff, and we were trying to figure out great venues where we could make some money to keep ourselves going. We even went to New York and played outside the Twin Towers at that time when they were up, and it was amazing because the towers actually amplified the sound of the trumpets.
Wow.
Because to get a sound on the trumpet, you vibrate your lips. That's a tone, that's a sound that you blow into the mouthpiece, and then the mouthpiece amplifies it, and then the trumpet amplifies it, and the towers in New York City amplified it even more. So it sounded like giants were playing trumpets.
Wow.
And so we did that, and we had a suitcase, and we had a friend holding up our music. It was cassette tapes at that time. And in 45 minutes, we took in $1,000, and we got thinking, gosh, we should move to New York. But we didn't.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so we were playing fairs and stuff like that, and eventually we just kind of stopped, and we started doing other things. And I remember watching television and seeing Barack Obama tell the world on television that the foundation of the Constitution was fundamentally flawed. My father had taught us about our unalienable rights and tried to teach us about the Constitution. And so that just triggered something in me. I thought, how dare him tell the world he's a U.S. Senator. He took an oath to defend the Constitution, uphold it. And I'm thinking, he's a lawyer. If he were representing me in court and told the judge that my foundation was fundamentally flawed, I could fire him immediately, or should fire him, and I could bring action against him for malpractice. And here he is violating his oath, and I thought, I've got to read the Constitution, because I hadn't really felt like I'd read it completely ever.
Yeah.
Right. So I started studying the Constitution, but before that, my brother gave me a DVD set. It was called The Money Masters by Bill Steele. I think you can see the videos on YouTube, and it goes into explaining where money comes from, the creation of money, actual currencies, how it was used. Sticks were money and shells were money. And I didn't realize that it wasn't the sticks or the shells that had the value. It was the numbers or the notches that were carved in the sticks, that a stick would be cut in half, and the notches would be on both, and one would be kept in a safe, and the other one would be used for currency. And if anyone counterfeited it, off their heads, right? So I started to understand money, and then I understood the Federal Reserve because of this video, and I started studying the Constitution and started connecting concepts that had to do with taxation and money, and that really got me motivated, and I kept discovering things that I thought everyone that studied the Constitution knew, but I couldn't find anyone that knew these concepts. And so I finally talked to the publisher, the largest publisher of the Constitution, and the National Center for Constitutional Studies, the owner, and I shared my concepts with him, and I said, I've never heard anyone share these concepts before. And after a half hour, he says, I've never heard them either. We want to publish them. And so would you get them together for me, he said, and we'll put them with our Constitution book. And then I got thinking, wait, I think I'll just create my own Constitution book, which has led to this new coffee table version.
Wow.
With my discoveries, and the #1 person that is in charge of protecting the Constitution, our current president, right? With his quote about the Constitution on it. So it has my discoveries, which includes the first time ever that proves that socialism is unconstitutional. It highlights a clause that has been hidden, and I think intentionally been hidden from the public view and from us to prevent us from stopping things like socialism. So that clause is in there, and other concepts. So this has questions and answers. That is a complete education of concepts that have never been published before. It has a lot of other stuff in it too.
You made a little one too, and I love
that. A miniature version. It's the same content as this, only it fits in your pocket.
I think everybody loves having like different options like that. I think it's really great, and it's really easy because I think people think, oh my gosh, the Constitution. I love how you made it to where everybody, like the Constitution for dummies. I'm glad you made it like that for us.
Good.
So thank you.
And the Q&A in the back is a great, simple way to get educated about clauses that have been literally, I think, intentionally hidden from us because they're so powerful. It's a game changer.
Where's the Q&A?
The Q&A is in the back somewhere.
Somewhere
in the back before the index. Yeah, there we go. There's some Q&A.
Oh, this is nice, and this is just great all the way around.
And people can get that
fun.
at TrumpConstitution.com. Now, these will also be available if you're going to go to General Flynn's event on December 16th at Mar-a-Lago, and the tickets are only $5,000 a ticket.
Well,
for a dinner. So he's ordered 500 of these that he wants to give out. And then
when did Trump read this?
I don't know if Trump has seen this or not.
Okay,
yeah,
but
I
his
think
people did.
he's going to, and I want to get some pictures with him holding it up too. Would be nice. Yeah.
This is so awesome. I mean, I think there are so many questions that go through one's mind with all of this. It's one. I mean, do you get nervous about this because you're putting out some serious? I mean, whenever you question anything, people get nervous. So with your thought process and like, I'm actually going to write about this and talk about this. How did that process go down in your mind?
Well, it's kind of like I've just really struggled with this and tried to figure out the best ways to introduce some of the concepts. So I started with easy concepts, like which of the following words are in the Constitution? The word Republican, the word Democrat, the word democracy, the word democratic, and which of those words is in the Constitution? The word nation. And it's interesting, this is because the word nation is not in the Constitution. The word Democrat or democratic or democracy are not in the Constitution, but the word union is in the Constitution, and the word Republican is. Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution guarantees a Republican form of government in every state.
Wow.
And so that's one of the easy kind of concepts to learn. And then union, we're not a nation. The word nation's not in the Constitution, so we're really a union. The Declaration of Independence refers to the word nation as a state, and state as a nation. So nation means state, state means nation. So we're one union. So the Pledge of Allegiance, we're one union under God.
Wow.
So concepts like that are kind of an introductory to helping us get to the Constitution and understand its contents. And then I tell people, it says how and why promoting socialism is unconstitutional. Another thing is the first 10 amendments were never defined by the first Congress as the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights, to me, is kind of a cloak, kind of a hiding the real power in those first 10 amendments because they were defined by the first Congress as further declaratory and restrictive clauses to the 7 articles. And that's a game changer. So this is the first book that shows the first 10 amendments amended something. You cannot find another publication that shows the first 10 amendments amended anything.
So why do we not know this?
Because I think our ignorance has been funded. Article 1, Section 8 really gives the Congress the power to educate us in the Constitution, but who was the people with the money control our representatives, and I think it's been an intentionally financed campaign for ignorance to keep us from knowing some of these incredible concepts in the Constitution.
So what kind of feedback have you got when you came out with this?
Well, it's great. A lot of people are excited about some of the concepts, and I feel like it's about 50,000 so far have been distributed, and I've printed another 50,000, 60,000 actually.
That's pretty good.
So it's been very positive so far. I've had a lot of people really, love it. And so when I tell people, if you want to put something into action, Article 6 of the Constitution is very clear. It has to do with a lawsuit. Very clear with the words, they shall be bound by oath to this Constitution. Well, what does that mean? That means if they violate their oath to the Constitution, there should be penalties. So I experimented with some members of the Senate, the House, and candidates, and the answer would be from the question, what is the penalty for breaking the oath to the Constitution? And the answer has been a couple times, oh, you lose the election. And then I'm just quiet and listen, and they go, wait a second, that can't be the penalty, and they start thinking out loud. So it's a magical thing that kind of happens just from the simple question, showing Article 6 requires a binding oath and asking them what the penalty is for breaking it.
Wow. This is all really impressive and really new to me. I love it, and I love how you simplified it. Has Barack Obama read this? I mean, he's the one that spurred this, so.
Exactly. He inspired me to do it, so I should send him a special copy. Maybe I'll put his picture on the back of it with his quote about the Constitution on the back.
So now you kind of know what he was talking about. That's really funny that you kind of did this on a quest to kind of disprove him, and then you actually found out he was right.
Well, in a way, it shows you that you can be inspired to do something from maybe a negative source. But he was wrong. wrong. He said the foundation of the Constitution is fundamentally flawed, and he was really slandering the Constitution. But he was right in a way of our understanding of it is fundamentally flawed, and his understanding of it is fundamentally flawed. And even our most conservative scholars have kind of been, their understanding of taxation, because I get into that, and money creation, fundamentally flawed. Like Tucker Carlson, before he was fired, he said $1 trillion out of thin air. Why are we being taxed for it? That's a question we've never heard a member of the U.S. House or Senate bring up, have we? And there's a lot of implication with that, because when $1 trillion is created, the Federal Reserve's nonprofit status and their charter requires them to make sure every trillion they create over and above their operating expenses belong as profit to the Treasury.
Wow.
And instead, they're billing us for money we don't owe. So every dollar of federal debt is supposed to be profit, not debt.
That's really interesting. And you said Tucker Carlson actually has read this.
No, he's seen a
it
picture of the
he's
front
interested
and the
about it.
back, and so he's contacted me and he's invited me to meet with him about ways of marketing it or getting it out there. And General Michael Flynn, we've talked about this, and he's consented to join the meeting with Tucker to see about getting this to every home. So that's the goal, is to get it to every home in America. That's my trademark.
Did you think that was going to happen when you started on this?
No, I
mean,
didn't.
You were just kind of doing research.
Well, when I started, I thought everyone knew this. You know, when you discover something,
Wow.
you think everyone that knows the Constitution knows and understands these concepts.
So
but I had no formal education having to do with the document, so I was able to look at it with a fresh point of view. I remember another one of my discoveries that just kind of blew my mind was I found that there's an interpretation clause in the Constitution that demands strict interpretation, and that the only way you can constitutionally interpret the Constitution you can only lawfully interpret the Constitution in ways that protect our unalienable rights, because that is the purpose of the Constitution, is to protect we the people against all adversaries, including government. And so for there to be a clause in the Constitution that demands strict interpretation just really blew my mind. It sounded like one of the 10 Commandments to me when I read it. And it's one of those declaratory and restrictive clauses. It's the Ninth Amendment. It goes like this, one sentence. And it's a whole amendment with just one sentence. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. In other words, no interpretation that denies or disparages the rights of the people can be used in a legal, lawful way. And to me, I thought, this is unbelievable. And thou shalt not, those words used, I thought this is like the 11th commandment.
Wow.
Demanding that the Constitution's purpose is only to protect our rights and not favor government at the expense of our unalienable rights.
So what's the goal now? Because what are you doing with the Supreme Court? What is happening?
Okay, well, I with my brothers, they helped and I was the plaintiff in filing a federal lawsuit against certain members of Congress that we felt violated their oath that affected me in a personal way.
Okay.
And so we filed it in a federal court, and it's a personal damage claim. And in order to file a personal damage claim with a law firm, they would say, well, you've got to get permission from the government to sue the government or government officials. Well, we didn't want to go that route. So with the help of my brothers, I became the plaintiff, and we took this complaint to the federal court of Utah, and the federal court filed it and docketed it. And because I think they'd never seen it before, but then the court unfiled it twice.
No way.
But after suing the federal court, they changed their decision and allowed it to move forward, and it made it to the Supreme Court of the United States. As the first, I think it's the first lawsuit that's made it to the Supreme Court where I'm suing members of Congress for damages, and a special rule of the Supreme Court of the United States that if I can prove to them that it is of imperative public importance, those are the words, they would allow me to skip the normally required appellate court, which in this case was the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. So we bypassed the 10th Circuit, hoping they would file and docket it under their Rule 11, and they did. So that was a historical thing.
That is, wow, that's amazing. And you largely funded a lot of this, which people, the time and effort and money this must have taken.
Well, most of the money would have been attorney's fees. I've had a couple of attorneys look at it and go, you've got $1 million or more worth of legal fees here if you'd hired a law firm to do it.
Wow. You were really on a mission.
So, so it's about awareness, and the crux of this lawsuit is really Article 6 of the Constitution requiring a binding oath, and how they've skirted that with absolute immunity. So the U.S. attorneys defending the defendants, the 387 defendants, are claiming absolute immunity amongst other things. And it's like, how can you have a binding oath and absolute immunity? It doesn't make any sense. And so no wonder our members of Congress feel so free to violate the Constitution, because they feel like they have immunity and they're never held accountable.
Wow. Okay, so where can we follow you and see the progress on everything you're doing? You did say that you had a website.
I do have a website, trumpconstitution.com.
Okay.
Takes you to 7discoveries.com. So if you see that, don't get confused. And also loybrunson.com, where the letter campaign is there. And
Okay.
President Trump has endorsed the letter campaign in August of 2023, August 18th. And also he retruthed an article about the Brunson case prior to that. So he's aware of it.
That is
and
awesome.
now that there's a U.S. Solicitor General appointed by President Trump, he has a great amount of power with this case, and he could get another conference for it.
What's your social media that we can follow the progress as well?
I don't really do much social media,
We
but
gotta
I
look at
do.
the website.
But I do have a True Social account, and I do have an X account, and I think I have a TikTok account.
So we look across the board for Loy Brunson.
Yeah. If you go to loybrunson.com, if you go to the bottom of that,
get all
it'll
of
show
it.
you
Okay.
all my social media accounts.
That is really awesome. This is just awesome that you've had this journey. I can't wait to see like the progress on everything. And this has only been a short time because you published this back in 2020.
Well, this coffee table version, I have smaller ones that are available at the website if you want the smaller ones. But this has just been a few weeks old, and so General Flynn loved it. And you think about it, I don't think there's ever been this big of a copy of the Constitution and its amendments. It's always been like a little stapled pamphlet, and I wanted to show it as much respect as possible. So I have this coffee table size hardbound with gold foil on the front and gold foil on the back. And the next printing is going to have more gold foil outlining the frame of the picture.
And it's an easy read. I think people like to have things that are just like easy, spaced out, where you can be like,
Yes.
okay, here, then they can actually underline and mark stuff and do all the stuff that you, suggest for.
Well, yeah, there are contradictions without the amendments, so this clears a lot of stuff up and makes it easier to understand.
Well, I definitely never thought about this. Like, hey, we've been lied to. Has anything gone on? So it's so great. It's food for thought. And I love this. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Oh, sure.
And then I can't wait to follow and see how it goes at Mar-a-Lago and all that stuff.
Okay.
So you'll be sure to update us on your website.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be great. Let's do this again.
Awesome. It was so good to meet you.
Thank you, Sparkle. It's been great. Thank you.
Bring the next time the trumpet.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to do a lot of practicing for that.
Thank you for coming on the show today. I see
Thank you,
ladies
Sparkle.
all the time.
Yeah,
so
thank
tell us
you.
what we got going on, like what you guys represent.
Okay, do you want to start? Okay, so my name is Molly Analla, and I'm the president of the Fresno County Republican Assembly. We're a local grassroots or a Republican organization. We're a part of the California Republican Assembly. We have over 60 chapters across California. And Ronald Reagan called our organization the conscience of the Republican Party. So we like to keep the candidates that we endorse conservative. And so we make sure to vet the candidates to make sure they are truly representing Republican ideals. So
how long have you been doing that? Have you been in charge?
Well, I started out as a member, and then approximately 5 years ago, our president informed me that he was moving, and I said, please tell me, somewhere else in Fresno County, and he said, no, I'm moving to Missouri. And then he goes, I was hoping you would take over the group. And so anyway, I got thrust into a leadership position, and then next thing you know, I become the vice president for our statewide organization, and it's like, it's just like blown up.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I tell people it's like politics is kind of like quicksand. You dip your foot in, and before you know it, like you're up to your neck, and you're like, how did I get here?
And it's all volunteer work.
Yes,
it's all volunteer. It's a passion for saving our state, our country, and our children's future. And do you want to tell the story about how we met?
Yeah.
Can you tell us really quickly what you do, the jumpers?
Yes. So, if we tell the story about how we met, that'll be the background.
Oh, I can't wait for
of
this
how
one.
I got involved.
Okay.
So let's start there. So Molly, you go ahead.
So I actually was getting gas at the Vaughn's gas station at Herndon and Fowler, and I look over, and she had like an American flag bumper sticker on her car.
The little flag on the window.
Yeah. And I was like, oh.
Not the big giant one, but the.
Yeah. And I was like, oh gosh, I have to hurry, finish pumping gas because I got to go talk to her. And then so anyway, I finished and I ran over and I was like, hey, I like your sticker on your car. And we ended up talking.
Your flag.
Yeah.
I like your flag.
Yeah. And so we ended up talking for 5 minutes, and I always keep like our brochures in our car.
That is awesome.
So I've always kept voter registration forms, brochures for our organization, business cards, like everything is always ready to roll. And so I gave her one. She immediately signed up, and she soaked
I was like,
up.
oh, thank goodness, somebody, like-minded.
Yeah.
And go ahead, I'm sorry.
And she soaked up everything like a sponge. I mean, she has been phenomenal. And I tell people, if you're going to be effective in politics, you have to be a great communicator, a great networker, and you have to be organized. And if you don't have those three things, you're not going to get very far.
So she invited me to these meetings, and I was hooked. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like-minded people! I'm not alone." And it was great. It's like a second family. Not only the CRA, California Republican Assembly meetings that are once a month, the first Tuesday of every month. Should we say where it's located if anyone is interested?
So we meet the first Tuesday of every month at the 7 restaurant, and it's on the northeast corner of Shaw and Minuwawa and Clovis.
Except for next month in November, because
it's election day and we need people voting. Vote no on 50.
So it'll be the next meeting will be the first Tuesday in December at 6 p.m. at the 7 restaurant, 25 Shaw, Clovis. Yep, Shaw and Minuwawa. And the CRA always vets candidates running, so we can meet them in person, have them do their talk about what they stand for. We can ask them questions. We can see what their values are, and so we can and have them talk to our community so that we can know who we're voting for. Do we want to vote for this person? Do we want to support this candidate? And they can sign up volunteers to help, walk the beat, walk the districts. So that's what, the CRA does. Do you know who the speaker is for December?
Yes, so for December, we're having Mike Murphy, who's running for Assembly District 27, which includes Merced counties, Madera counties, and Fresno County. So, and then we're also having Jim Paulsgrove, who is running for Assembly District 31.
We've got a lot of community members who are stepping up and running for office, getting civically engaged. We, besides the CRA, as we, Molly invited me to these Liberty lunches, and Terry and Georgia Wild had started these Liberty lunches during COVID, when there was a lockdown and the doors were open and people could still come and have and meet with people. Luckily, Clovis, being conservative and having great local leaders, they weren't going to force mandates from the state. And so, Clovis opened up after I don't know how long the lockdown was, but
it was only a few months.
So we would meet every Wednesday, and we'd have a variety of different speakers, and I saw a need to help out with that because it's a lot of work putting those things together, especially on a weekly basis. Finding the speakers, scheduling them, getting their photos and their bios, getting the flyer made, getting the flyers out, circulated, promoted, printed, social media or text messages. And so we, I started helping with that. Molly and I do a lot of collaboration on speakers, and but then I started hosting, and I did this volunteer work weekly for 4 years, hosting and scheduling and doing all the promoting for it. And so they ended up turning it over to me. So the name has changed from Liberty Lunch to Freedom Lunch, and so it's the same format. So we meet every Wednesday at the 7 Cafe, 12 to 1:30. The same location as the CRA meetings, and we have a little room that we have the speakers speak while we, order lunch, and it's free to attend. The speaker, there's no speaker fee, and it's a variety of speakers, a variety of topics.
And it's cool because you get more of an intimate time with them than you get like some of these other events. It's more like one-on-one. It's more, and you can really so dive in there.
So it's a small community gathering, and it could be 30, 40 people, depending on the speaker. We get to, after their presentation, we do a Q&A and then have some, one-on-one time afterwards. But it's a variety of topics. It's not just politics. It's all about educating the community. And then doing that experience for 4 years on a volunteer basis, then John Birch Society, who basically is, educating the community, especially focusing on the Constitution. And they were established in 1958. Exposing the deep state since 1958, educating America on the Constitution, your rights and responsibility, and they have their own publication, The New American, which is the truth not censored, because we have our own researchers, writers, and we publish it ourselves. And I can go on and on. So basically, there was an opening for a field coordinator position with the John Birch Society for Central California. And I interviewed for that and got the job. So now my husband's happy that I'm getting paid to actually attend all these meetings all over, the valley. So that's what I do.
I'm still free.
I know.
I'm still a volunteer.
I know.
So when people are interested in that, where do they go for the John Birch?
Okay. So I have lots of props here.
She's whipping out the books, guys.
Okay. So basically, if you've heard negative propaganda in the past, that's because it's fake news. Like we know all about fake news and propaganda against Trump, against conservatives, against Christians, and it was all BS back then. And so we want people to open their minds and see what the John Birch Society really is. It's all about education. It's all about learning the Constitution, learning what your rights and responsibilities are. So the John Birch Society's mission is less government, more responsibility, and with God's help, a better world. So I'll just read what the pamphlet says. What do we believe? We believe the American system of government, a constitutional republic, not a democracy, is the finest ever developed by man. We have a constitutional republic. We don't have a democracy. But that's what a lot of the politicians want you to believe, that we have a democracy. We don't. We don't have a mob rule democracy. That's what the Constitution is for, a constitutional republic. So I want to, clarify that. We believe the traditional moral values of our Judeo-Christian heritage form the cornerstone of Western civilization, and that the family is the most vital unit of society. We believe the free market system, competitive capitalism, and private enterprise afford the widest opportunity and highest standards of living for all. We believe in the dignity of the individual. We welcome people of all ethnic, racial, religious backgrounds, judging others only by character and ability, as we wish to be judged ourselves. Our common bond is a love for liberty and a rejection of totalitarianism under any label. We believe that individual rights are endowed by our Creator, not government, and that the government's function should be limited to protecting our right to life, liberty, and property, and that individual rights are inseparably linked to individual responsibility. So everyone needs to get in, be involved in their community. We have monthly chapter meetings. In addition to the weekly lunches, we have members. Members have monthly meetings, monthly chapters throughout the state and throughout the nation. Talk about basically what we've done civically, civic engagement. So have we encourage the community to attend city council meetings, county board of supervisor meetings, school board meetings. Know what's going on in your community, and that should be done in every county. We've got a lot of members that are running for office, and to get good people in with that would uphold the Constitution. Where the John Birch Society, if you want more information, go to jbs.org. We also have scorecards for legislators, and this scorecard program is nonpartisan. It's fact-based, and the legislators' voting record is public record. So what we do at the John Birch Society, and if you go to the website thefreedomindex.org, you can pull up your congressman, statewide, nationwide. Their picture will show up. You click on it. This is you can do it on your phone, on your computer. You'll see the history of their voting record. It'll show an example of bills that they've voted on and how they voted and if their votes are constitutional or not.
Wow.
And then we score them.
That's pretty interesting.
0 to 100. Yeah.
And it's shocking how many have a 0. And the score, it should be 100. 100% of the time you're voting with the Constitution. And there's several that have a 0.
Yeah. So usually a lower score has a D next to their name and a higher score has an R next to their name. The John Birch Society is nonpartisan, but we score all the legislators the same. So, it's like their voting record is what speaks. for them. And if you want to help flip seats, if there's candidates that want to flip seats in those areas, those districts that will, uphold the Constitution when they're voting, which they take an oath to do so when they take office. So, we show, they can use those scorecards, they can print them up, they can share them on social media, they can share them with every single voter, no matter how they're registered to vote, because it's all about education. It's about educating the voters. And maybe voters will think twice how they're going to vote next time. Maybe they'll change their vote. Maybe we'll be able to flip seats in those districts, not only congressional, but state seats as well. So you can look up your assembly members' voting record and their score. You can look up your Senate.
That's really
senators.
interesting.
Yeah, you can look up your senators' voting record and their score.
Wow.
And so again, that's at thefreedomindex.org to find the legislators' scorecards.
And you guys work together often. A lot of everything that you do.
We collaborate.
Yeah.
We collaborate.
Yeah. We truly, she's my partner, so, I mean, honestly, it's hard to be in politics. It's because it's nonstop. It's, every day it seems like there's a crisis, right?
Every day.
Yeah, right?
Legislative alerts. Yeah.
It just goes from one thing into the next. And I really tell people you need to have a buddy, to kind of help you. You can go to events together, you can talk to each other. You can be each other's therapy, to get you through some of the
only person
stuff.
that understands the weird world you're going into.
So we're both great recruiters, CRA, JBS,
and a lot of people belong to both.
And a lot of people belong to both. Where the CRA does the candidate vetting and endorsing, the JBS does not endorse candidates, but we will help provide
the information. And you do know a lot of information, I must say. I was very impressed of the information that you knew. It was
at the vendor table.
With a lot of things, it was kind of mind blowing. But you knew a lot of very intricate details that are not open to the public, or just many details.
Yeah, it's publicly accessible. It's just not public knowledge.
Yeah.
Where being a representative of the John Birch Society, I have to educate myself in order to educate others. And there is so much information that they have put together and can provide any topic you can think of. They've written a book or article or a video, and it's all on the website. And if I could, if you want to know how the John Birch Society was started, it's all in the Blue Book. And the founder is Robert Welch, the Welch candy man who retired to start this organization when he saw trouble in the government and how the community needed to basically get engaged and hold our legislators accountable. And that's what the scorecards do.
It's not the Kelly Blue Book, it's just the Blue Book, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not the Kelly Blue Book.
Good distinction.
Right. But if you want to know the truth, we've got reality versus myth. Information about the John Birch Society, that's available on the website. We've got books galore. One is American Exceptionalism, What Makes America Great. This is by Art Thompson, who was a former CEO of the John Birch Society. He now passed last year. Our Gary Benoit, he's got a basically kind of a summarizes the John Birch Society in his new book, Vanguard of the Americanist Cause. A closer look at the John Birch Society. You can also go to shopjbs.org, and that's basically where all our merchandise is. We also have a Freedom Project Academy, pre-K through through 12. So pre-kindergarten through 12th grade, we have an online or homeschool program that is available. It's Christian-based. It teaches the reading, writing, and arithmetic. It's not government funded. It's a private Christian online school or homeschool package, and you can go to fpeusa.org. FPE, the E stands for education.
And what about the CRA?
Okay.
How do we join that if we were interested?
Okay, so our organization, you can go to cragop.org. And actually, our organization was founded in 1935, so we've been around for a very long time.
You guys both have like old organizations. I love that.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I was actually the captain of one of the first Recall Newsom efforts. And at that time, I was a member of 4 local conservative groups, because I was peddling those petitions left and right? So I, had to go to all the locations, pick up completed petitions, drop off more blank ones. And so I really kind of got a feel for the different groups, you know what I mean? And so I'm still a part of the Fresno County Republican Women's Federated. They're a great, luncheon organization. But my heart really belonged to the CRA, because it's just more grassroots. It doesn't feel as businessy or stuffy, you know what I'm saying? It's more like casual, laid back, just like regular people who are concerned about the direction of the country or the state. Like, honestly, during the pandemic, our organization exploded.
Oh, I bet.
We started so many.
That's when people were really looking for answers on stuff.
Right,
So maybe people really think and question things they weren't thinking or questioning before.
Right.
Yeah, because what we ended up seeing was a lot of Republicans were the ones that were fighting to keep businesses open, fighting against the mandates. And we were seeing the Democrats, especially like Newsom, who were pushing, to have vaccine passports, closing businesses, not wanting people to, churches couldn't meet. It was just very restrictive, but then we all know, he was meeting at the French Laundry with his buddies, and everything he was telling everyone not to do.
Standards.
Everything he was telling everyone not to do, he was doing. And so anyway, it was just insane. So I think that a lot of people that were apolitical became political because they started seeing the hypocrisy of everything.
Well, and when they shut the schools down, then parents are starting to, see what's really going on and what their children are learning.
Oh yeah, that was because everyone was the kids were having to learn on Zoom
meetings. Yeah,
and so some parents were walking by their kids.
So funny.
Yeah,
that was happening.
Yeah.
You're going like,
so she has children too. Wow. I have kids. So my kids were and my oldest had an IEP. So my kids were forced to go to online learning, where before, my son would get speech therapy at the school, or he had services. For 2 years, it was like, online learning, and I just felt like that's why there's so much learning loss, is because I personally felt like there weren't as much services provided because of everything that was going on. Now, Newsom's kids, they were in school almost the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
so private school was open.
Yeah, so that was what was so frustrating to me, that's why we were saying he was the rules for thee, but not for me, Governor.
Right.
You know.
Well, what I like about the Freedom Project Academy, it's because it's not government funded, it's not government oversight or government curriculum. They're not going to teach the CRT or Common Core or CSE or transgender ideology. And they're going to teach the kids the Constitution and and proper history that to love your country, not hate your country. And so and parents' rights matter. We don't have rules where Newsom is, signing all these bills that are putting a wedge between parents' rights and students. Wow. And like AB 495, he signed on Sunday. But a lot of stuff that's going on is basically coming from the United Nations and their Sustainable Development Goals that they're trying to create control over every aspect of our society.
I have a question about the education. So if we belong to it, do we get a say in the curriculum? Because
you have a say in the curriculum.
Because American history doesn't teach about the Armenian genocide, and I would like that. So that's something that if we're members, we can get to be taught in the John Birch.
Talk to the instructors and the administration on that. Definitely.
That'd be cool.
I was going to say, you're not going to get that in the public schools.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was like.
So
that's why it's so sad, because I think the American education system, they're teaching the kids that America's bad, America's systematically racist. And I feel bad because the younger generation, they want to tear it all down. We've all heard this over and over again. And it just breaks my heart because, when we were kids, you were taught to appreciate America. Right. You were taught civics. I feel like these kids, they don't even know civics.
Right. So I also wanted to let viewers know that the John Birch Society has free webinars. And we teach the Constitution.
And we can go on the website to see when those are up.
So Freedom's Voices is part of the speaker schedule on jbs.org. On Mondays right now through the end of October, we've got Mondays at 5. Blueprint for Liberty is our new Constitution series. So we have an older Constitution is the Solution series online on our website, and now we have webinars launching our new Blueprint for Liberty. And what the great thing about the webinars, if you're not available to join the live interactive webinar, you can go ahead and register, and if you miss it, we will send you the recording.
Oh, that's awesome.
To your email. Send the recording link, and you can watch it at your convenience and from your own home online, including, well, I know this airs after this date, but we have different topics besides the Constitution, like the global attack on farmers.
And that's very important.
So we're talking
about a lot
about
more events on that.
Water rights, property rights, and we've got a documentary, Unearthing the CO2 pipeline.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
That is, I've got a QR code. You can watch it.
That's awesome. We are very much about farmers getting water. That's a big reason why a lot of us got involved in politics.
Exactly. And so basically, that project is part of the Green New Deal that we're trying to block, raising awareness across the country. They are using our taxpayer money to fund these projects, just like the high-speed rail. It is not good for the environment, and they are using eminent domain to take over farmland.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness!
And it affects the farmers. The farmers can't, grow crops on that land. These on this project, they're coming in to the farmers' land and starting to drill and test, and the farmers are going, what the heck is going on?
So
and
just so you know, that happened to my brother. So my family is in farming, and they dropped off the pipes. They They didn't even let him know. He had nothing. He
That is
had
so sad.
no knowledge
I hear
about it.
so many stories like this.
They dropped off a bunch
And
of
this
the
is
pipes.
California.
Yeah, on his property, and he was like, "Who are you? And what are you doing? Like, where did this pipe come from?" And the guys are like, "We don't know. We just got told to drop it off here." And he's like, "Well, you better call whoever told you to drop this here." And he goes, "You better get this stuff off my property."
Wow.
And anyway, but that's going on.
It is.
Okay, real fast, I just got a phone call. So AJ it did get confirmed for the October 29th.
Okay.
Yay, so
Freedom
you want to see AJ come to the October 29th Freedom Lunch. That's awesome. Okay,
AJ's running for Fresno City Council. So
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. So we like to give candidates and speakers a platform to speak to the community. So back to the war on farmers, the CO2 pipeline. We have a ton of information on our website. And last but not least, this is our private publication, The New American, and this is the most current edition. And it's about the COVID vaccine carnage and the rising death toll.
Oh, my goodness.
And one of our whistleblower nurses, our local nurses, is bringing information to the public light. Bringing what's going on in hospitals to light in a lawsuit that Children's Health Defense is funding. Yes. And Rebecca Terrell, our journalist for The New American, interviewed our friend Michelle Spencer, the nurse whistleblower, and there's a 5-page article in this magazine that Michelle, regarding the interview with Michelle Spencer, and she's speaking at the Freedom Lunch tomorrow. Well, this will air.
So you guys will just pay attention, go to the websites, and you get all the information. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having
me. Can I mention one more thing?
One more thing.
Thank you. So if you're interested in membership with the John Birch Society, just go to jbs.org, and the monthly magazine, The New American, is included in the membership for a whole year, every month. So. Thank you, Sparkle.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
And if anyone wants to reach us, we're Molly's information is on cragop.org.
Correct.
As the president for the Fresno County CRA chapter, and my information as the field coordinator for Central California is on the jbs.org website. You just go in to find the tag that says "Find my coordinator" and put in your zip code, and my information, my contact information, will be there.
Thank you so much.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh, I must confess, dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't want to be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.
Hi, I'm Sparkle Sujin, and I am the host of the Everything Sparkle Show. I would like to invite you to come and hang out with me every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, as I interview the world one guest at a time. Everything Sparkle is available on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and CMAC.tv. Plus, if you're in the Central California area, you can watch on Comcast Xfinity Channel 93 or AT&T Uverse Channel 99. Hope to see you there.